Are you sick of never hitting the ball to score a home run? Do you feel like you don't have enough speed with the bat or don't have the correct position at the plate? Do you want to correct your form to help win a game? If you answer yes to any of these questions, then continue watching to solve this problem. Today we will be discussing how to address the problem of increasing velocity to successfully hit a baseball. We will be observing this movement in the transverse plane for optimal viewing. The 4 phases of baseball swing include stance, loading, swing, and follow through. It is important to know what muscles and bones are involved with this movement so that you have the knowledge of what to use for optimal movement and what is being worked on. For the arms and shoulders, the bones involved are the humerus, radius, ulna, and all wrist and hand muscles. For muscles involved, it includes the bicep, which is used for bending the elbow, the tricep, which is used for extending the elbow, brachioradialis, which is used for aiding the bicep, extensor carpi radialis longus, which abducts and extends the wrist, the deltoid, which protects the scapula along with extending the arm, and flexors, which are used to assist in bending the arm. The bones involved in the chest are the sternum, ribs, and clavicle. The muscles involved is the pectoral, used to assist in adducting the arm, the rectus abdominis, which is used for bringing the breastbone and pubis toward one another, and the external abdominal oblique, which rotates the vertebral column. The bones involved within the back is the vertebral column and the scapula. The muscles involved is the trapezius, which moves the scapula and spine, the latissimus, which is used for extension, adduction, and transverse extension, along with flexion from an extended position, the infraspinatus, which rotates the humerus and stabilizes the shoulder joint, the teres minor, which rotates the humerus, additionally performing transverse abduction, extension, and transverse extension, and teres major, which assists the latissimus. Lastly is the legs. The bones involved in this is the femur, tibia, fibula, patella, and all tarsals. The muscles involved is all 4 quadriceps, which are used for the extension and flexion of the legs, the 3 hamstrings, which assist the quadriceps, the gastrocnemius, which flexes the knees and foot, the soleus, which assists the hamstrings, and the plantaris, which assists the gastrocnemius. There are several different movements within a proper swing. These include the feet for plantar flexion between the tarsals, fibula, and tibia, shoulder and arm for ball and socket joint, rotation of back for the rotational vertebral column, wrist and elbow movement for the extension of hinge joint between the humerus and ulna. We now know the muscles and bones targeted and the movements that take place within a proper swing. Now it is important to know where the center of mass is within a swing so that your swing will be stabilized. What is the center of mass? The center of mass is the point around which a body's mass is balanced equally in all directions. This is important because it gives the index of total body motion. The center of mass would be within the hips as the hitter is rotating them. This allows for stabilization. The base of support would be between the 2 feet during the stance. Without the center of mass in place, the player would fall. How does velocity affect your swing? Law of inertia states a body will remain in a state of rest or constant velocity unless acted on by an external force that changes the states. How does this relate to baseball? Swinging of the bat is rotational inertia. The player's hands and wrists apply the force that causes this rotation. The bat's speed correlates with the moment of inertia about the vertical axis of rotation throughout the batter's body. The speed generally decreases at the moment that inertia increases. In order to increase the inertia, you must load your swing through your hips and let your hands follow. Your lower body should thrust your trunk, which allows your arms to generate more power. It is very important to use grip in order to increase the bat's speed, which will increase the velocity. Strong grip proves a faster hand speed and control. Choking up at the bat results in increased control, decreased inertia, and decreased linear velocity. Let's put this into more explicit terms for a more educational explanation. You can determine the linear velocity at different points along the bat to determine the best contact point within the ball. Velocity affects projection angle, speed, and height. The velocity is directly related to distance. The greater the speed of the release, the greater the distance covered in the flight of the ball. Inertia and vertical velocity both play a role within this. Initial velocity is the velocity of the object before the effect of acceleration, which causes the change. Vertical velocity refers to the speed of an object's movement in a vertical direction. Angular velocity is important for hitting the baseball as well. In order to achieve hitting skill, the rotational angle and angular velocities of the body segments within the stance are important kinetic factors. This means that the angular velocity of the hitter rotating its body affects the speed of the bat hitting the ball, along with the precision of the person hitting the ball with a bat. For example, you need to achieve a higher angular velocity of the bat and impart a linear velocity to the ball for an accurate swing. Another thing that affects velocity is the directness of the hit, along with the elasticity of the impact. The radius and the W contribute to linear velocity as well. Therefore, if a bat has a greater radius, meaning longer, but is too heavy for the individual to swing quickly, they do not gain a sufficient swing. So if we maximize our R and we maximize our W, we will maximize our bat speed and ultimately our power potential. Now, to tie it all together, how can we use this valuable information to fix our issue? 1. Assure that the bat is not too heavy or too long for the player. 2. Achieve correct stance along with your proper COM position. 3. Increase velocity by having a proper rational angle in order to have sufficient speed for swinging the bat, allowing for a higher linear and angular velocity. 4. Sufficiently swing the bat in the direction with the ball.
Swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, batter, swing. Swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, batter, swing. Swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, batter, swing. Batter, swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, batter, swing. Swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, batter, swing. Batter, swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, batter, swing. Swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, batter, swing. Swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, batter, swing.